Somebody said it looked a lot like a 1950s airline logo, and I was like, I kind of see that. There's Breonna Stewart. I can't make heads or tails of what that shit's supposed to be. Asia Wilson. Okay.
The cameras were still flashing when Caitlin Clark's world turned upside down. Her name wasn't just in the headlines anymore, it was etched in history. September 1st, the day Nike unleashed her official signature logo. 2 bold, interlocking C's. Simple, clean, powerful, and instantly iconic. The internet? It exploded. Nike's servers crashed in minutes. T-shirts vanished like Jordan drops. Fans were camping outside stores just to get a glimpse. Resellers flipped them at double the price before most people even had a chance.
So this just happened a few minutes ago, and it was a long time in the waiting. Many fans were wondering where Nike has been with any Caitlin Clark merchandise whatsoever, but developing a signature logo and a signature shoe does take time. So without further ado, here is Caitlin Clark's official Nike signature logo. There is a statement that says, Caitlin's signature logo pulls you in like her game. It features interlocking C's. Her mark is emblematic of ever-expanding range.
For Caitlin Clark, this wasn't just a logo, this was coronation. But here's where the story gets messy, because on the other side of that celebration was Asia Wilson, the reigning queen of the WNBA, 3-time MVP, 2-time champ, the self-proclaimed face of Nike basketball. And suddenly, it felt like the crown had been ripped away. The whispers started immediately. Was Nike sidelining Wilson to make Clark their real franchise player? Did Clark's rookie logo already overshadow Asia's long-awaited A1 shoe line? And then, the most explosive rumor of all, that Wilson herself wasn't impressed, throwing subtle shade about Clark's design, a jab that fans quickly turned into a full-blown feud. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not this soon, not like this. But now, the WNBA finds itself in the middle of a cultural earthquake.
All right, subtle commercial, nothing too crazy, no big bang. But here we go, folks. If we look at this right here, this is the Easter egg I'm talking about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 billboards. 8 billboards. October, December, November, January, February, March, April, May, the start of the WNBA season. Is that when these shoes are gonna drop? Is that when these shoes are gonna drop in May? We know that come October, we're gonna get some merchandise, we're gonna get some apparel, but the shoes, they said, coming soon in 2026. How soon? May 2026?
With 2 of its biggest stars on a collision course. So here's the question we're diving into tonight. Did Nike just ignite a war between Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson? Or has Clark already snatched the throne before Wilson even knew it was up for grabs? To really understand the chaos around Caitlin Clark's Nike logo, we have to rewind. Because this isn't just about 2 players. It's about legacy, timing, and a billion-dollar sneaker empire that knows exactly how to stir the pot. Let's start with Asia Wilson. Since 2018, she's been Nike's golden girl. Signed straight out of South Carolina, she built her resume brick by brick. MVPs, championships.
Celebrate her logo debut with this soft cotton logo tee. And you know what's interesting about this design? It does look like they are interlocked, but if you kind of like squint your eyes, it also kind of looks like a very dimensional one C in front of the other one. I don't know if that's just me. According to Nike, the shirt is available, but it's not available just yet, but you can be notified for when it does go on sale. I can only imagine it's going to get sold out.
Dominance on both ends of the court. 6 years of loyalty, sweat, and patience before Nike finally rewarded her with a signature line, the A1s. By the time it dropped in 2024, Wilson had earned every bit of it. But here's the problem. Nike's rollout was underwhelming. The logo? Critics called it clip art. The marketing? Barely a ripple outside WNBA diehards. Sales? Strong at first, but nowhere near Jordan-level hype.
And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they've missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out trying to get the shoe. I also heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand for
Wilson, the A1s were supposed to be a coronation. Instead, they felt like a consolation. Now compare that to Caitlin Clark. She hasn't even finished her first pro season, and Nike already dropped a logo that shook the entire sports world. Shirts sold out in under 10 minutes. Online resale markets doubled prices overnight. Even her Kobe PE exclusives earlier this summer caused fans to camp out around Dick's Sporting Goods like it was Black Friday. And this is where the tension explodes. Wilson had to wait 6 years for a rollout that fizzled. Clark? 6 months, and she's already Nike's global franchise player. So when fans started speculating that Aja shaded Clark's logo, calling it cheap, dated, even airline-like, the story wrote itself. This wasn't just an opinion, it was resentment. Let's strip this all down, because when you look closely, Nike didn't just drop a logo, they pulled off a masterclass in brand warfare. Step 1. Timing. They waited until September 1st, right as the playoff race was heating up, to unleash Clark's design. They didn't just want attention, they wanted domination. The move hijacked every WNBA conversation overnight. Even Aja's MVP campaign felt like background noise. Step 2. Design simplicity. 2 interlocking C's, minimalist, memorable, instantly printable on anything from hats to hoodies to sneakers. Compare that to Wilson's A1 branding, which critics said looked like a tech startup's beta logo. Clark's? It looked global from day one. Step 3. Scarcity. Nike knew demand would crush supply, so they leaned into it. Shirts sold out in minutes. Social media went into meltdown. Suddenly, Clark's logo wasn't just merch, it was status. If you had it, you weren't just a fan, you were part of a movement. And step 4. Narrative. Nike positioned Caitlin Clark not as a rookie, but as the savior of women's basketball. Her logo wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. They didn't say, "This is Caitlin Clark's brand." They said, "This is the new era." Now here's the kicker. Every single one of those steps came at the expense of Aja Wilson. Whether intentional or not, Nike created a direct comparison. A1, S versus C, C, S. The reigning MVP versus the rookie phenom. One rollout fizzled, the other lit the world on fire. And in that split second, fans weren't just choosing between sneakers, they were choosing between queens. The logo drop didn't just sell out shirts, it cracked the WNBA fan base right down the middle. And the fault lines were obvious. On one side, you had the Clark Army, fans screaming that Nike finally gave women's basketball the superstar it deserved. They flooded Twitter, TikTok, and IG with unboxing videos, resale links, and one message: Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's the future of the sport. On the other, Wilson's loyalists. Aja had been grinding for years, carrying the league on her back, winning MVPs, and building dynasties. Now, in their eyes, all of that was being disrespected. 6 years of work overshadowed by 6 months of hype. Her shoe line reduced to a footnote in Clark's shadow. And then came the smoke. Screenshots started circulating of Wilson allegedly liking comments calling Clark's logo lazy and corporate. Some fans swore she threw subtle shade in interviews, emphasizing how long she waited for her own line, how much she had to prove. Suddenly, this wasn't. Here's the contradiction. Aja Wilson is the face of the league. On the court, nobody's close. But Caitlin Clark is the face of the culture. The jerseys, the clicks, the eyeballs, they orbit around her. Nike knows it, fans know it, and deep down, the players know it too, which sets up the tension perfectly. Do you side with the established queen who's built her empire brick by brick? Or do you ride with the rookie disruptor who turned a logo into a cultural earthquake overnight? Because the truth is, this isn't just about sneakers anymore, it's about power, and power doesn't like to be shared. The Fever's locker room was silent after Caitlin Clark's revelation. Players shifted uncomfortably. Trainers avoided eye contact. And even Coach Stephanie White, usually firm and controlled, seemed momentarily shaken. Clark's words had landed heavier than a buzzer beater from half court. This wasn't just about her paycheck. It was about respect, legacy, and the very structure of the WNBA. Across the league, whispers turned into roars. Players on other teams texted each other screenshots of the contract detail Clark had exposed. "Did she really say that?" one star guard asked. "If she's getting that, what about us?" murmured another forward. Suddenly, Clark wasn't just Indiana's rookie phenom. She was the flashpoint in a league-wide storm. Media outlets latched on instantly. ESPN debated whether Clark had broken the unspoken code. Talk shows painted her as either a hero pulling back the curtain or a reckless rookie stirring trouble. Social media? That was pure chaos. Hashtags like Clarkonomics, Pay Her, and Fever Speechless trended within hours. Some fans called her the Michael Jordan of transparency, while others warned she was biting the hand that feeds her. And the WNBA front office? They felt the tremor. League executives, already bracing for the upcoming 2026 CBA negotiations, now faced a ticking time bomb. Clark's comment had done what years of quiet frustration couldn't. It forced money, equity, and fairness into the spotlight with no escape hatch. But perhaps the most fascinating fallout came from her own teammates. Some looked at Clark with admiration. Finally, someone said it out loud. Others worried about the target she'd placed on all their backs. Was she a truth teller or a disruptor? This was bigger than a rookie contract, bigger than a single locker room. Caitlin Clark had just redrawn the battle lines in the fight for WNBA respect, power, and pay. The question now wasn't what did she reveal? The question was, what happens next? Behind closed doors, Caitlin Clark's revelation was treated like an earthquake. Owners called emergency meetings, agents scrambled to read the fine print of endorsement clauses, and inside the WNBPA headquarters, the players' union huddled in a tense late-night video call. One league insider summed it up bluntly. Clark didn't just break news, she broke the silence. The timing couldn't have been more dangerous. With the 2026 collective bargaining agreement looming, the WNBA's future was already a battlefield. On one side, league executives wanted to preserve stability, controlled salaries, slow growth, and limited risk. On the other, a rising block of players demanded not just a bigger slice of the pie, but equity, visibility, and control. And now, Caitlin Clark had just shifted the balance. Enter the shadow alliances. Behind the spotlight of game nights, whispered coalitions were forming. Clark wasn't alone. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, her now famous Leches partners, were already rallying behind her. For months, rumors suggested they'd been strategizing, preparing to turn their friendship into something much bigger, a political force inside the league. Meanwhile, veteran stars weren't sure how to react. Some, like Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson, respected Clark's guts but worried about destabilizing delicate negotiations. Others, especially younger players on rookie deals, saw Clark as their lightning rod, proof they didn't have to wait years to demand change. Owners, however, had their own weapons. Leaks to the press hinted at Clark being too young to understand the business or driven by personal ego. The old guard was trying to paint her as reckless. But if the league thought they could isolate her, they underestimated the storm building around her. Because every controversy has two sides, power and perception. And perception was where Clark was already winning. The question wasn't just whether the WNBA could contain her, it was whether they could survive her. The storm Caitlin Clark unleashed wasn't just about a contract clause. It was about something deeper, a challenge to the way the WNBA has always done business. She didn't just sign her name on paper, she carved it into the future of the league. And that's why this moment feels bigger than basketball. When Clark stood there and revealed that insane detail, the Fever locker room went silent. Not because they doubted her, but because they knew. The stakes had just been raised. A rookie had spoken like a veteran revolutionary. And when a rookie does that, the league never goes back to normal. Now, Leches, Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull aren't just teammates or friends. They've become the nucleus of a movement. Sophie, the enforcer, ready to take the hits. Lexie, the quiet connector, bridging gaps behind the scenes. And Caitlin, The megaphone blasting the truth where nobody else dared. The old guard will resist, the owners will scheme, the headlines will twist. But one thing's already clear. Clark has rewired the conversation. She's forced the league to ask, who really holds the power? Because here's the truth. The WNBA's next chapter won't be written in boardrooms. It won't be decided by owners in suits or executives with balance sheets. It'll be written on the court, in the locker room, and in the voices of players like Clark who refuse to play along with business as usual. So now, we wait, we watch, and we ask ourselves, is Caitlin Clark just the spark of a fire or the architect of a revolution? And if you believe this is only the beginning, smash that like button, subscribe to her hoops, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because history, it's happening right in front of us.